Hypocrisy.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Lost-Planning the Interwebs. I am your tech-enabled host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, and with me is my tech-disabled guest, Ty Beard. How's it going, buddy?
Going well. How you doing, man?
I'm fine.
You can hear me, right?
Yep, I can hear you just fine.
Okay.
I was going to blame you for this, but it's actually turned out to not be your fault at all.
Well, I'll take the hit anyway. It comes with the job, you know.
Good. No, so I had some friends broadcast from my studio the other day, and Tuesday, I guess it was, and then like adjusted my sliders, did everything, just ruined my entire life, and I thought everything was fine, but I didn't have to use my headphones yesterday to actually hear audio. So that was off for whatever reason. The audio output was just turned off somehow. I didn't even know you could do that because it wasn't on the buttons where you would normally do that. So yeah, it's their fault. It's their fault. But
Good.
Yeah. How you been, man?
Chastise them. Really good. How you been?
Very good, actually. I hate December normally. And the first half of the month was kind of just dick. But it's been really good. It's taken a nice turnaround. My birthday was awesome. You know,
I forgot all about your birthday. Happy birthday.
I noticed. Yeah, I noticed. That's okay. I'm actually not mad about it. I think once you're done being like a child, like you should stop worrying if people remember your birthday.
Well, Facebook didn't alert me. I spend half of my birthday thanking everyone who sends me a happy birthday message on Facebook. It's like a 2-hour process now. It's like,
yeah, I can't do it anymore. And I don't even use Facebook, and I still like get so many from people who never otherwise talk to me. And that's not like a slight. It's just, I don't go onto Facebook to talk to them either.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I get all these Facebook messages. I'm like, man, I remember when I would go through and like comment on every one of those. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that at all.
No, life's way too short.
Yeah. I would rather revoke the 8th Amendment. But no, I used to do stuff like that all the time. One year I went for Thanksgiving and I ate all my turkey. And as everybody was like passing out watching football, I spent the rest of the night just going through my friends list and picking people who I don't normally talk to and just like saying I was thankful for them and giving one reason, like a personal reason. And then people were like, holy shit, like I haven't talked to you in 10 years. It's like, yeah, you're not going to talk to me for 10 more. So I better get this nice message to you. But I used to do stuff like that. And then it became like so cumbersome to do life at all.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of cool to be on your show without me being at a convention. I'm at Stately Beard Manor. This is actually a room that I'm redoing. There's an inflatable mattress back there because we're having guests.
I mean, you say you're at Stately Beard Manor, but that just looks like an Embassy Suites. That's all I'm saying.
With
the San Antonio Embassy Suite
computer with a printer in the back. Yeah.
Well, you got to have a printer in your Embassy Suites.
Yeah, it's yeah, no, whatever. Anyway, yeah, it's good to be back on. I enjoy coming on. I notice some very, very kind people in the chat are going, "Oh my God, Ty's lost weight. Thank you." Yeah,
you look way less round.
Yeah,
your face is thinned out. Not like you look good. That's not like that's a compliment. You look good, man.
Yeah, I'm actually down to the weight I was. I'm not quite there, but much closer to the weight I was in college than I was, say, a year ago. So
me too. Like I'm a couple pounds over where I graduated college myself. It's a good feeling, man, isn't it?
Yeah. It's taken a lot of effort.
A lot of methamphetamines, probably.
Yeah. Actually, the crazy thing is, if you eat less than you burn, the strangest thing happens. You lose
the weight. It's a literal math formula.
Yeah. If you
say that, Ty, people lose their damn minds.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, all this body positivity bullshit is,
They're like, no, you have to have a specialized diet with 3 grains per day and 6 protein. It's like, no, you just don't eat. Just don't eat. Try that. Just don't eat. Well, eat less is really it, but don't eat.
I'm trying to figure out, is there more mythology and BS in nutrition than in guns? It's a very close race, because I've been back into shooting a lot more lately, and God, I had forgotten how much know-it-all bullshit there was in that.
Yeah, so the general math formula for weight gain and loss is a 3,500 calorie surplus or deficit equals 1 pound.
Yep.
So if you want to lose a pound a week, eat 500 calories less than you use per day. And then 1 week, boom, a pound comes off. And it's remarkably accurate. That's the funniest part, is like, people hit you with all this different stuff. They're like, well, you got to have this and these ketones and stuff. It's like, well, if you just have 3,500 calories less per week, you're going to lose a pound.
Yeah. I used to have a spreadsheet that I did. Diets were always very effective whenever I'd go on them. I was one of those people. I could lose weight. I just didn't want to. I enjoyed eating. And, I used to have,
you got to find something else to do, like beat up the homeless.
Yeah, sure. And also your body, if you have a sedentary lifestyle, and it depends on your age, your body's going to burn, if you're a guy, 10 to 12 calories per pound of weight, give or take. And so, yeah, you can turn a mathematical equation. I do low carb from a diet standpoint. I find that's, I don't know if that
it's a good diet.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know if that's more weight loss because it's low carb, or if you're just really just burning calories, but you're just not very hungry.
I think the big advantage to the low carb diet is the carbs just tend to be extra calories. Like I know they do the sugar thing, and there is some merit to like sugar and balancing how you feel and how you do stuff and your energy levels and stuff like that. And yeah, but the low carb thing is like, really, if you just add bread to everything, you gain weight really fast.
Oh yeah. I loves my bread.
Yeah, you and Oprah.
Yeah.
No, I did a summer on, it's actually on my Facebook. Everything I cooked for an entire summer, I made into a sandwich in some way. Like I had ramen sandwich, a bunch of open face sandwiches, everything. It's basically, you just add bread to everything. You find the right type of bread to add to it. Most of the time it's just white bread because it's delicious. And you just do that. And I gained like 15 pounds over the summer because you just add so much damn bread to everything. You have bread with your cereal. There's bread everywhere.
Yeah. Well, carbs also don't last long, because I think you get hungry again.
Well, carbs don't last long because fat women are around. They're like,
that's not nice. But yeah, anyway, it's actually been quite good. Although I've got to get all my suits retailored.
Worst part. That's the worst part of losing weight.
Well,
best part.
Yeah, I had my tux redone for Brittany's wedding back last April, March, whatever it was, and I'm back in court now on various things, and I'm having to go with sports coats and stuff because none of my suits they all look like I bought them.
You can go to a secondhand shop and get a maroon.
Hard to find a replacement for an Armani suit at Goodwill.
Have you tried Hugo Boss?
Yeah,
I hear they know how to tailor very well.
Yeah. Well, I found a lady. She just opened a shop here in Tyler, and she's fantastically rude and brusque.
Oh, then that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. But she did a great job on my tux. So I've got to bundle all my other suits and take them to her and just say, here, make some, because I'm going to be in court number of cases and stuff in the first quarter of next year.
Fun.
And sports coats. I've never been a big sports coat guy anyway. I like to either be casual or in a suit.
I think when you're in court, like the full matching suit is just, it's the move you should do. It's neutral. It's professional. If you got, like, you can pull off like the contrasting sport coat and pants and all that stuff. You can pull them off, but it's distracting. Like, why do you want to look good, not be distracting. Like, you don't want to call attention.
I'm always worried, especially with female judges, right? Because, women are going to, I swear to God, they see more colors than we do. They process all that stuff differently. And the last thing I want is a female judge look at me going, "Who dressed you?"
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want that at all. So you just
No.
go to a place and you buy a suit and you say what shirt goes with it, and I'll take some shoes, and then you just wear it. It's really easy.
No. In my private life, actually, last week I got 3 more red plaid shirts, and my wife says, "Honey, you already had 3 red plaid shirts," and I said, "Yeah, I need 1 more."
It's like, I know what I like.
Yeah, she's
Leave
like,
me alone.
I had told her years ago that over time I was intending to distill my wardrobe down to 1 color pants and one color of shirt. You know,
That's the Steve Jobs method.
yeah, yeah.
But he's
It's
dead, Ty. Did you think about that?
true. I did not. I did not.
He had
I mean,
AIDS or whatever, cancer AIDS, and he died.
Yeah.
Why? One shirt, one pair of
One
pants.
shirt, one shirt. Well, and the thing is too, I don't think Steve Jobs had as many women in his life as I do. I've got
No.
daughters and my wife, and women, that just whips them. They see you wearing the same thing.
Wasn't he
2
wearing
days in a row.
capris all the time? Like those looked like his pants were always really short.
Yeah,
Like
he
he's
was a-
wearing jeans and they were like riding up to mid shin.
Yeah,
Just makes me think he was gay.
Wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't
Yeah,
be
me either.
surprised. There was always a weird vibe off that guy. He was a genius. I mean, I have to give him kudos and all that. But yeah, it's strange. I get the same kind of vibe whenever I see Bill Gates. Well, and of course Zuckerberg is a lizard person.
Yeah.
All those guys are weird.
Well, I think that's what
except
lets
for
them.
Elon.
Oh, no,
Elon-
Elon's fucking weird, Ty.
Now Elon doesn't give a shit.
But he's
That's-
also weird. Like he
I
gets
think
to
he's
afford
weird.
to be weird.
He's weird in a different way, though.
Yeah. Well,
you know-
he's got actual autism where the others just have
Yeah.
billionaire autism.
Yeah, and he's also a legitimate genius. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
he's been successful in a number of different ventures. The rest of these clowns are essentially lottery winners. Somebody was going to sell the operating system to IBM for the IBM PC because IBM didn't have one. And it happened to be Bill Gates. Okay, great. Good for him. But I don't think I want lottery winners telling me anything else about how to live my life or how the world ought to, rebuild itself. And all these weird guys are like that. They're one shot guys. Somebody was going to figure out you could sell stuff over the internet.
Yeah.
And Jeff Bezos figured it out first. And again, good for him.
But he sold
But-
like books and he's like, screw you, Barnes and Noble. I'm going to sell
Yeah.
books better.
Well,
But
and it turned
Then he
out
fucked it
that-
up, Ty. You know why?
Hmm.
You notice you can't buy expedited shipping on Amazon anymore?
I've had Amazon Prime since I think it came out, so I don't really notice that because I'm.
Yeah, try and get something there faster than Prime gets it there. Of course, you live in a place with people, don't you?
Yes,
So your
that's
stuff
true.
still comes in 2 days, right?
I'm not right. Yeah, I'm not stuck on a glacier like you. apparently
Yeah.
are. So
That whole
Prime.
thing, Prime used to even out here in the middle of nowhere, it used to be the 2-day thing. And then sometime around COVID, I think when Amazon switched their whole fleet to a private fleet,
mhm.
sometime around then, man, it went to like 5 days
No
out
kidding.
here. Yeah, for
Well-
everything. It's really rare to get a 2-day shipping, even with Prime. And I've had Prime since college, so like
Yeah, that's
undergrad college.
weird. I haven't noticed that here, although I do notice a lot more variation in, nowadays, you'll click on something and even where it says Prime, it may say 3 days. I don't know. I'll have to pay attention to that. I really hadn't, kind of gotten my life to a point where whatever I order off Amazon, I order it, in advance, and it gets, as long as it gets here in a few days, I'm good.
Oh yeah, you're so cool.
I'm just so, yes, I'm so cool, Nick.
No, it's
I mean-
most of the time it's not a big deal, right?
Yeah.
But like when you think of a last minute Christmas gift or party thing, like my daughter's birthday is coming up and she's telling us the party she wants to have. And she's like, Mom, how do we do this? Like, well, we live in a small town, so you don't have great shops. So you got to go to Amazon to get
Mhm.
anything mildly obscure, like a specific decoration or style. But then they can't get it there in like 2 days. It's got to be like 5. It's like, well, okay, maybe we'll have to improvise. But anyway, I'm just mildly bitchy. Guys, the show topic tonight is very simple. Ty and I we kind of have a tradition where somewhere around Christmas Eve, kind of depending on where the days fall and where the schedules allow, we just get together. We have a very, chilled out, low key chat, talk about life and what's going on, talk about Christmas a little bit. family life, the cultures and communities around us. I mean, we might get to some news. I'm going to ask Ty about the completionist. There's a super chat about it. He probably has no idea who this guy is, which will be great to kind of let him know, because this kind of it's not directly up your alley, but I know you deal with some stuff very adjacent to this and similar. But basically, it involves a charity fund that this guy created, a YouTuber created, and it's not like a GoFundMe. It's a 501c3 charity that he's created for Alzheimer's. Raised something like $660,000, and after 10 years, people realize that none of it's been donated.
Oh,
only none of it though, Ty.
Only none. Yeah. But
so
other than that, it's
other than the none. So we may listen to a little bit. Two YouTubers. One of them I know is Carl Jobst. He's Australian, and he's a good dude. A kind of an investigative video game reporter, sort of, but like the culture around video game streaming and stuff like that. He like talks about guys who do world records. And do you remember Billy Mitchell?
Yeah,
the Donkey Kong guy, King of Kong.
No, I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about General Billy Mitchell, the father of air power in the U.S. military.
You know how I said Elon Musk was autistic?
Yes, you said that.
Hello, Mr. Musk. No, I'm talking about Billy Mitchell, the King of Kong, the guy who held the world record for King Kong points. It's like a big deal in the 80s and 90s when like those arcade cabinet world record things were done on VHS tapes, and they'd have women with shoulder pads like cheering on the nerd.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm vaguely aware of that whole time.
So that guy who literally got famous because he did the King Kong world record. He got the maximum point, like the most points ever on it or whatever. A bunch of people like started analyzing the footage and going like frame by frame through it, and realized that it was not done on an actual machine. It was done on a machine, like the cabinet's there, but the processor running it was an emulated thing. So not that it makes it's not like it doesn't necessarily make his achievement not great. Like he's still pretty fucking good at the game.
Yeah,
he wasn't like
he
wasn't cheating. Like he wasn't using something to make his performance better, but he shouldn't have won in the category that he was in because it wasn't an authentic machine.
Right.
And then he went nuts on this. Like Carl Jobst guy was he's Australian, and he got sued. He sued Guinness. He sued because Guinness removed his name as King of Kong. Like they're like, nope, you don't have the world record. He sued this video game world record company and stuff. And it's been like just a fucking ongoing disaster for the past couple of years. And he used to talk to me and send me stuff on Twitter, but then I think he realized like I wasn't really on his side. I just thought it was funny that he sued Guinness.
You were mocking him.
I wasn't even mocking him. I was just like, I think so. This is an interesting thing, right, Ty? So Guinness says you hold this world record. Well, if they retract that, that's damage. That's big damage.
Yeah, it is. I mean, his brand, the as you crazy kids call it these days, was irreparably harmed. By the way, Derna 1804 came up with the retort I should have used, and it's, I'm sorry, I thought you meant a real man who did real shit.
Billy Mitchell became, I think, like a millionaire off of this. Like he marketed a hot sauce brand. Like he marketed himself as this great video game guy before everybody, like before it was a thing, right? Like
was that like the early 90s? Okay, that would explain it. See, I went to law school, and
like they'd like bring this guy onto like MTV and shit to do stuff. Like these guys were famous for this garbage. It's great. And so then he gets canceled, and I thought it was really fucking interesting because the technical arguments as to why his world record shouldn't qualify, you have to like know a lot about it. Like, and how they figured it out is there's like these frames that happen in the emulator. You have to go frame by frame. These frames happen where like there's like an image that's slightly different than the original. Like the original can't produce the same frame, and it's how the emulator like draws the background image in real time and stuff like that. And so people like found that and did that. But like average people who don't care about this don't know. What they do know, though, is the headline that says that this guy who is famous and has this entire business and brand built off it, they now say he cheated.
Yeah.
And so then
it sounds like it's a little more nuanced than that, but still.
And then like he's got the people who certified the machines and all that stuff and and statements from all them. Well, except for like one of the guys is dead. So there's all this crazy shit. And like he did it all on video, like recorded on a VHS tape and stuff like that. And he's like, how could I have cheated? Like I'm here. There's people in the audience. There was an audience, Ty, and all this. And so then he sues Twin Galaxies, who has the Video Game Hall of Fame or whatever. And then he sues Guinness. He actually got Guinness to re-implement him. They settled and re-implemented him as world record holder. Because Guinness like, we don't fucking care. Yeah. I don't want a lawsuit. Leave us alone. We got other stuff to do. We got a woman shoving ping pong balls in her mouth. But yeah, I found the whole thing interesting. And he used to message me a lot, which was cool. But then he stopped. And I don't know, like, if he just, because I stopped covering his case, or if he thought I wasn't on his side. Because like, just because you're friendly with me doesn't mean I agree with you. And I thought it was really shitty when he sued the Australian YouTuber, because like that guy's reporting actual facts and he just sues him.
Yeah, that's bad. I've been corrected by the chat. Apparently it's not nuanced. Apparently he's just a cheating bastard. So
if you want to make it that way, I think it's a lying bastard is the main thing.
Is that lying?
I think that's the more, because like, again, if playing it on the emulator doesn't make you good at the game. He was good at the game, but it's just not the same as playing it on an actual, an arcade system.
Playing it on the device that he claimed to be playing it on.
Right, exactly.
And no matter how similar, it ain't the same thing, I guess.
Yeah, but it was a weird thing, and I don't know how we got onto this.
You were talking about the reporter who was talking about the 501c3 that never really got around to actually distributing anything.
Right. So Carl Jobst, the guy who did the Billy Mitchell story, he talked about, Billy Mitchell also sued this other guy. He sued the guy who actually broke the story, Apollo something Apollo, and I think that guy offed himself during the lawsuit. So then it was like a big thing because like Billy Mitchell was going like really hard on him, and he like settled the lawsuit with him because he didn't have the funds, and this is a millionaire coming after him, and then he ends up offing himself. And so then Carl Jobst was like talking about it and how like the lawsuit could have contributed to that and all this stuff. But he never said that Billy Mitchell caused him to kill himself. He was just talking about like all of the things that went into it. I don't remember all of this stuff. Like this is a long Apollo Legend. Yeah. Apollo Legend was the guy's name. And this is years ago. So I don't remember all of it as well as back then, but it's this major dramatic story. Anyway, Carl Jobst and this other weirdo named Mudahar get this guy, the completionist, who's a video game person or whatever, who's been raising all this money. They get him on a phone call and he just talks to him. Because of course he does.
Right.
So we may listen to that because it's kind of interesting. I was listening to it with Camelot the other day, and we're just sitting there like, what are you doing? You shouldn't be on this phone call. He's like, he's the head of, I think there's 2 board members on this charitable board. It's a family board and or family foundation. And he and his brother or something. And he's like, well, I didn't have any idea what was going on with the money. Oh, well, I mean, like who did?
Who did? Yeah.
But yeah, it's a mess. So we might be fun to talk about that as we get going.
Well, I mean, my God, the Clinton Foundation was a crime syndicate, and they were doing exactly the same thing. They, if you wanted to I mean, if you had come to me and said, Ty, how do I launder bribes and avoid trouble with the IRS? I'd have said, set up a charity.
Yeah.
Well,
and be a Clinton.
Well, yeah.
And Seth Rich, everyone who comes your way.
Well, properly report any income you actually take out of the charity as compensation, but use the money within the charity to do whatever you want done and characterize that as a charitable activity. The definitions are broad, very subjective.
It just has to be reasonably within the stated objective of the charity, right?
Yeah, you're not going to go to jail if you inadvertently engage in a non-charitable activity. You may pay a fine or something, but
fine and then a tax amount on the if it ends up being taxable,
fine on the tax,
right,
a surcharge or something. But no, it was a money laundering scheme to accept bribes, and it was very interesting that right after Hillary lost, they shut that thing down within a year, which is exactly what I would have recommended that they do. In fact, I'd have shut it down before then. I would have had the dissolution papers drafted the day after she lost. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, there's a lot of obviously not all charities do this. I'm not saying they do. I've set up hundreds, probably,
Sure,
private foundations and everything for clients. But yeah, for bad actors or whatever, they can be abused.
Yeah, like anything, the thing itself is innocuous. How people use it is up to them, and that's where the bad acts come in. But we may talk about that because I know it's something that you know something about. As you know, I have a little bit of experience with charitable foundations and how they work, and reporting requirements and spending requirements and all of that stuff. But again, here you have a 501c3 operating for 10 years with apparently zero donations, 0% of the capital amount that the foundation holds.
And did you say he had raised like $600,000 initially?
660,000 over the course of the 10 years.
Okay.
But that's what's known. The other crazy things, there's other things that happen, like the foundation throws a golf charity event that would break in, like the estimates are like 80 to 100 grand a year, and none of that money is accounted for anywhere, like at all.
If the IRS gets interested in them,
well, and
it's not going to be.
When he would solicit the donations that would go through this foundation, he would solicit them for a target of a specific company too. So he's not soliciting general dollars. He's saying every dollar that's donated during this stream or during this event is going to go to this organization, and zero.
Except it didn't.
So now you're commingling general funds and then solicited donation funds. It's a messy stuff.
Yeah, the IRS, I've always felt like they have an institutional hatred of nonprofits. So, because that's money they're ultimately not getting any revenue off of. And, if your last name isn't Clinton or Biden or something like that, I wouldn't recommend using charities as your tax fraud vehicle. Because
they'll eventually catch you.
Oh, well, and when they lock their teeth into you, that's when it's going to really be,
And everybody will hate you because it was a charity.
Right.
It's not like you defrauded the KKK. You're defrauding Alzheimer's patients and just banking on them forgetting, which is rude.
Yeah. That's not nice.
we may get into talking about that, but really, guys, we're just here to have a chill chat for Christmas time, like we always do.
Yeah.
And so if you have any topics you want us to bring up, feel free to drop them in chat. Obviously the easiest way to get your chat seen is a super chat, but if you don't have to, if I see it and it's interesting to me, may bring it up. We may talk a little bit of this Trump being disqualified from Colorado, which is great.
That was,
and
I didn't see your show on it. I saw you commented on it, but that's fascinating.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's my main thing is, where does a state believe they have derived the authority to disqualify a federal presidential candidate? And not because, Colorado, the Supreme Court tried to weasel their way through this. They said that the Secretary of State is empowered to determine who should be on the ballot based on whether they are qualified or disqualified. However, the Secretary of State of Colorado does not, in my opinion, have the authority to disqualify the president and then make the determination that they're off the ballot. And that's what happened. I don't think the state has any power. It's a federalism issue.
This is a due process fiasco. I mean, hell, let's get into it. I mean, our lieutenant governor did exactly what I was hoping somebody would do. He came out and said, maybe we need to take Biden off the ballot in Texas because of his conduct at the border.
Be hilarious.
Try this one on. Every Democrat that supported Black Lives Matter riot, I think, is supporting an insurgency. Let's get them off the ballot. Although the U.S. Supreme Court has proven itself to be gutless on a lot of things, this is one issue that they really, really need to.
Well, there's so many
and do something about.
This is too.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say Trump is the president who is probably going to spawn more like executive branch jurisprudence out of the Supreme Court than anyone else. I mean, he's got so many issues now before the Supreme Court. Many of them are novel and they're very interesting, and they have to be resolved. Like, they have to resolve whether a president has criminal immunity. They have to resolve whether the civil immunity, well, the E. Jean Carroll case is really interesting because he's saying they had civil immunity. And did you see that the appeals court and the district court in that case, because they said basically he waited too long to raise his presidential immunity defense and therefore he waived it. But presidential immunity in civil suit is based on separation of powers. So
you can't waive that.
Yeah, you can't waive the judiciary not having power over the executive. So like I love all of these very complex constitutional issues that he's raising. I normally don't like to just talk Trump news, but this is all Trump law news, and all of the law is like new and dynamic and wild. So,
well, yeah, and the left lost. I mean, they've lost their minds. They lost their minds in 2016 when Trump had the audacity to win, and they're terrified of him. And you know, we're a year out, and anything can happen. But you know, no Republican has been ahead a year before the election in like 20 years. You know, and these are liberal pollsters that are, you know, that are coming out with these polls. And I mean, you know, look. Trump, I imagine Trump's going to make the same kind of argument that Ronald Reagan made in his second term when he ran for his second term, and that was, you know, are you better off now than you were with my predecessor? And Trump can make the reverse of that same argument. You know, and all these people that don't like mean tweets. Well, how do you like paying, you know, 40% more for groceries?
Yeah. How do you like that 7% mortgage rate? Right? Like,
yeah, I mean,
how do you like that? How do you like, your grocery bill going way up? Your the gasoline has fluctuated quite a bit. Right now it's not terrible, but I mean, there were times throughout this presidency where gas was insanely overpriced.
Absolutely, and it'll happen again. This is we're in a temporary lull because the economy is slowing down. But by and large, gasoline prices have been substantially higher throughout this process. And I saw an article, some idiot journalist, which is a redundant statement, but they were interviewing a Biden official, and the Biden official was just basically shaking their heads at how stupid the voters are. And the line was, well, they want the prices to go back down, like that's going to happen. And I'm like, okay, good. You know, if you ever wondered how the French Revolution occurred, you know, these.
Yeah, when the peasantry can't afford the things that you get provided by the peasantry.
Yeah, and of course, Biden is just a more decrepit, incoherent, disgusting, vile, perverted worm every day. You know.
How do you really feel about him, Ty?
Yeah, I mean, and that's me on a good day. You know. It's just, I mean, it's been a complete fiasco. And what's hilarious, you know, I remember when we were spending this money, you know, dumping unprecedented amounts of money into the economy while simultaneously overregulating the economy to prevent economic growth. And we're going, oh yeah, this is going to cause inflation. And all of the people who knew better sniffed disdainfully and assured us that there would be no inflation. When the inflation came, oh, well, it's only transitory. And it's like, do you not even read your own textbooks that you write for, you know, first semester economics?
Yeah, it's amazing how all of that just goes out the window. But then the thing is, what they do is they measure overall inflation, and they have this really big boon to their argument. Overall inflation encompasses large high-tech goods, and the costs have come down on those so dramatically, and their popularity has skyrocketed in turn. I mean, I was at Walmart today, and because we're getting as part of our family gift for the kids, the TV that they have in the downstairs area, they play like Nintendo Switch on and stuff, is old, and it doesn't have like any smart TV features or anything. It's a good TV, but it's not great. So we're going to get them just like a 4K TV that's much bigger, because when we bought it, it was huge, but TVs have gotten giant and cheap. And I'm walking through Walmart, and they have like 80-inch TVs for $700. And it's like, the hell is this?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, and you
but
got,
you can't eat televisions. Yeah.
Right. That's the thing though. But that's what I'm saying though. So people are buying these goods that they used to be a luxury item. They've come so far down in price that they're accessible to everybody, which means there's more consumption of them. And then that justifies this price deflation in one major segment of the economy, which balances out the inflation in others for the overall rate to kind of stay suppressed. And it's just that groceries and shit have gone up so much.
Well, and then the exclusion just by fiat, we're going to exclude energy and food because, well, those are volatile.
Right.
What the fuck? Dude, what? You know, here's a thought. Why don't you figure out what the average household spends their money on and use that basket for your base inflation rate? If you did that, you'd have 20+% inflation rate. I mean, food is outrageous. Just today, I was at Walmart getting that thing behind me, that mattress behind me, and I saw the tin of cookies that you get at Christmas time every year.
Yeah,
the tin was $5, and it at best is maybe 2/3 the size of a normal Christmas tin. And this is Walmart.
Christmas tin stocks are down, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
tin stocks.
I mean,
no, I got an easier one. Go buy a 12-pack of soda. They're like $8.
Yeah.
The hell is this?
So all you people, all these people that didn't like Trump's mean tweets, y'all, I hope y'all enjoy it. I've always, I think I said this, when the 2020 election shook out, I am at a point in my life where I'm beyond being upset about what happens to people who are stupid enough to vote for Democrats. Because the thing is, the policies hurt us all, but they disproportionately affect the morons that vote for them. And I'm kind of at a point in my life where I'm like, you know what, screw those people. I'm tired. If they're going to be idiots, let them be idiots. The historical fact that's interesting is we have two generations of Americans that have never seen inflation, to any extent.
Right.
The last time we had seriously bad inflation would be like 1979, 1980.
Yeah, the oil crisis back then.
Yeah, Jimmy Carter was president. And the thing you remember is Jimmy Carter was a disaster from an economic standpoint from day one. Just, not quite as bad as Biden, but pretty bad.
But he was really nice, Ty.
Yeah.
Did you know that? Jimmy Carter was a nice guy and a good Catholic or what? Christian? Was he Catholic?
Baptist, Southern Baptist.
He's Baptist. Southern Baptist. The funniest
Southern
guy Baptist.
Yeah. As I say, I'm not a member of an organized religion. I'm Southern Baptist. But no, Jimmy, but the thing is, in the midterm elections, the Democrats did fine. They weren't punished much at all for Jimmy Carter's economic ineptitude. But just 2 years later, Carter was basically unceremoniously ejected. And everybody said, well, the Iran hostage thing weakened. No, it's bad economics. It absolutely was bad economics. And I think we're seeing the same thing happen. I think it takes about 3 years for the patsies to start figuring out who the patsies are. And no amount of gaslighting from the administration or for the mainstream media is going to overcome people who have to go every week to the grocery store.
Yep. It's amazing what happens when you write the fucking check.
Yeah. And I think a lot of this crap that's going on with in Colorado and these other states, I think they're terrified that Trump is going to win, which I think is hilarious. I have no idea if Trump's going to win or not. I've said all along I thought he would. If I was a betting man, I'd put money on it probably. But yeah, it's fascinating to watch the hysteria on the other side.
Well, they're trying desperately to disrupt the campaign. I think they are literally terrified that he has a very good chance. All of the case, the lawsuits, and of course the Colorado thing, which we may get to in a little bit, but it's funny to watch because it's like, what did you think was going to happen with all of this?
They honestly convinced themselves in their echo chamber that, that if they just charged Trump with these bullshit things, that would just ruin him. And I mean, to me and you, that seems ridiculous, right? But these are not very bright people. Our elites, this is the stupidest, most incompetent elite class this country has ever had.
It's actually awful to realize who is running us.
Yeah, yeah, no, they're imbeciles. They're absolute imbeciles. You know, and they sat there in their snooty little parties, and they just all decided, well, all we have to do is charge him with these things, and the people won't vote for him. The thing is, Americans do have a sense of fairness and a sense of equity about them, and nobody likes to see the government power being abused. And
well, some people do.
Some people do, but I mean,
you're sitting there, they're like,
yeah, but
normal me harder tie.
Yeah, normal people are sitting there going, "Wait a minute, what now? You're blaming him for Buffalo Shaman guy strolling through the Capitol? That really wasn't quite the same thing as firing on Fort Sumter."
It's pretty close.
Yeah, except for the lack of cannons and death and all that.
Okay, I gotta do this. I'm drinking a new whiskey tonight just for you.
All right.
I mean, I say just for you, not because of the whiskey, but because we're on tonight. It's chilled out Christmas time. I'm drinking a whiskey I've never drank because I'm sharing some good time with a friend. That's what we're doing. So this is Bowman Brothers Virginia Straight Bourbon Whiskey, small batch. This is sent to me a while back, and I've been waiting to open the bottle. But someone was asking what I was drinking. That's what I'm drinking. It does have Davy Crockett. It's hard to see, but Davy Crockett is in there.
Outstanding.
Look, well, he's got a raccoon hat or whatever, so I assume it's him.
I have upgraded, by the way, to Woodford Reserve. I assume that meets your minimal
Woodford's
standards.
Good.
Okay.
Woodford's good. That's they serve on Delta.
Jack Daniels pissed me off. They did some woke stuff, and I'm like, nope, not giving you guys money anymore.
Woodford is a great bottle to like. You can drink this every day. It's not super expensive. It's always good. And then I had a Woodford Bloody Mary the other day, and I was like,
interesting.
I was sitting. I was at a charity brunch, which was weird, and I got there a little bit late. No surprise. And I sit down next to the people that I know who are at the table, and the two husbands of the two wives. The two husbands have these Bloody Marys. I'm like, oh, I guess it is brunch. And they're like, yeah, these are bourbon bloodies. I'm like, what the hell is that? It's like, well, it's just a Bloody Mary made with bourbon. Happened to be Woodford. It's really good.
You could ever do that?
Yeah, it's terrific. Like, it's great. Because I like vodka Bloody Marys just fine, but there's like something about the bourbon adds a little character to it, little different flavor. But so here's the Bowman Brothers, Virginia. Are you drinking tonight, Ty?
No, I'm drinking coffee.
That's that whole weight loss thing or whatever.
No. I was up at 5 a.m. This has been a very, very chaotic Christmas. We were
mine too. Yeah.
Yeah. From a job standpoint, I mean, I had actually 3 weeks ago thought it was going to be a very low drama. I was going to take the last 2 weeks of the month off. Life was going to be calm, and I got a new client on a real high intensity, high speed, got to do it now situation that monopolized all my time. And then I got 2 more doing the same thing. So I think everything is calmed down to the point that I can at least take the rest of the month off.
Nice.
But yeah, it was been
I like
kind of fun.
sometimes you have these lines, Ty, that are passive aggressive, like a German Panzer.
Yeah.
Well, I was I'm hectic from work. Thanks.
I didn't mean to imply that you don't work, of course.
I'm joking. It was just funny. I was like, oh God, I got roasted hard. No, mine's been insane. Like, I feel bad because I every day don't even know if I'm streaming until like a little bit right in the end, up until the end of the day, because so many days lately we've been something will happen, something will come up, people will be over here unexpectedly, which it's great to have real people hanging out and stuff like that. But it's like, okay, well, we normally do a show, but we have these guests. I can't really kick them out. And then, well, they'll be done. So think I'll schedule the show for later. And then, like 2:00 rolls around. It's like, oh, we still have guests. Maybe I'm not going to do a show tonight type thing.
Yeah.
And then other times, like just yesterday, got pulled away from the house late. And I thought I would be back in time. And then plans got shifted and changed. And suddenly it's like, nope, you're not getting home anytime early tonight.
No show for
so
you.
It's like, okay, no show. And then most of the other shows the past couple weeks, really, I've been scheduling them like today at 11:30, sometimes starting them at midnight, even though I scheduled them at 11:30, because just do not have like a consistent schedule. Christmas time like screws everything up, usually in good ways. Like I have not had bad reasons to, they're good reasons that I'm not doing a show or that I'm starting them late. Good reasons for me. Like I'm enjoying things and it's like spending time with people in real life that I care about because of the season. But at the same time, it sucks for the consistency of the schedule, so
yeah.
it's been hectic.
Well, yeah. Christmas, you're always socializing. I mean, we got invited to probably a few more Christmas parties than normal that I actually wanted to go to. And so, that disrupted my, my life a bit too. But yeah, are y'all doing anything particularly special for Christmas? Just hanging out at the house or?
No, we're going to be hanging out here mostly.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll be streaming Christmas night. I normally would, but I think we are going to have something going on that night, so I won't be, but we're mostly doing stuff just low key here. We're not going to visit my folks. I think my folks are going to be in your neck of the woods.
Yeah. They're going to be down here.
And I wish I could be down there, but yeah, it doesn't work out for us this year, but we'll hopefully get down there pretty soon. But yeah, so we're going to just be here. We're going to do Christmas with our family, Christmas with her folks and stuff like that. And we have some other stuff to do, but it's going to be very low key, no travel. Thank God. Cause I've traveled a lot this year. I've done a lot of traveling for me, which is above average already.
My daughters and their husbands are going to come stay with us, even though they only live a few miles away. And we're going to pretend like we're on vacation. Last year I had a big business deal that I just couldn't go. We normally go somewhere for Christmas, like Broken Bow or down to the coast or whatever. And last year we planned to do it, but I couldn't. I had this business deal that was trying to close by the end of the year. So they just came over and we had so much fun. They said, well, let's just do that again. So we're trying it again and we'll see how it goes. I may or may not be out a few days next week.
See, you got this different dynamic now, because are they both out of the house or just the one? Or
both of them? Oh yeah. We've been empty nesters for a while. And
well,
of course I get along well with my son-in-laws. So that's,
But how long have you been empty nest? Like just a year, right? Like two.
Oh, no. They moved out.
God, time has soared.
3 years, 2 years,
Okay. 3 years ago, though, you go to Broken Bow or whatever, you go do your thing. And then
went to the coast.
Didn't you go to you went to the coast the next year. And then the next year would have been the one this last one where you stayed home, right?
No, the year after we went to the coast, we went to Dallas. We stayed at a downtown hotel in Dallas.
Where'd you go to Dallas?
We stayed at a cool downtown hotel. Because in fact,
I'm ripping on you because Dallas sucks. Yeah. We wanted to go see the construction.
It utterly did, because they were still doing mass crap, and I had no idea. The rest of Texas had gotten sane. But in fact, I remember because I actually I was on your show Christmas Eve from that hotel, and we streamed a Frog God Games Christmas role playing adventure, How Orcas Stole Christmas.
Yeah.
And then so then anyway, but this time around we stayed home, and it was so much fun that we decided we'd try it again. So we'll see how it goes. Are you doing a get together in March with your audience in Vegas?
Maybe. I don't know. I've gotten requests. So this year we did February. The problem with February is none of the Vegas pools are open. Right. And that's a fun activity for people to do while they're not at the live shows, like, go explore Vegas and not have it it snowed on me in Vegas, Ty. Like I brought snow to Las Vegas, which was terrible.
Was that in March?
February.
Was that in February this year here when we got together? I couldn't.
Yeah.
I can't.
That's
Okay.
how long this year has been in some ways where you don't
Yeah.
even remember. That was February of this year.
Okay.
But yeah, and it was a lot of fun, but and I've gotten requests to do one at the end of February. I've gotten people asking, well, do March, and then I've got other people suggesting April. And so it's like I don't know if I'm doing one. I would like to, but they're really like they're kind of hard to put together and they're expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, you know, and can I work this into my schedule and do all that stuff too? So I want to do one. I had so much fun. It was absolute blast.
I had a blast. That was really that was very enjoyable.
Yeah. And the Nashville one was super fun also, but the Vegas one just had its own character.
Yeah.
And Vegas is such an easy to get to town from pretty much anywhere on the planet.
Agreed.
So it's a great location.
My wife has little if any interest in mine and your activities. She does like to go to Vegas. So I was going to tell you, if you the second half of March, I'm going to be at GaryCon, and I'm going to be at a convention a week earlier than GaryCon that's also in Lake Geneva. So I'm out. But if you do it first half,
so you're gonna be in Lake Geneva for 2 conventions over the course.
Yeah.
Are you just going to stay there the whole time, the whole week?
I'll be like 10 days. Yeah. It's
oh well, I should probably drive out, or you should drive out here or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's so the week before GaryCon, I think it's called the Founders Con, and it's a smaller kind of. It sounds like what GaryCon originally started out to be, and so I'm gonna stay with my Frog God Games buddies for that. So basically, we have a villa.
Yeah, but you draw maps to your gayness on like rolled out cloth, so it's fine.
Yeah, I don't even want to get into that. I walked into that, head on. So
no, those guys are actually really cool. I like them a lot.
Yeah. But that's my only unavailability. If you do it any other time, I'll come to it again. It was out of blast.
Yeah. I don't know. I got to check with Lady Rackets and see because our schedule for the school year this year has been somehow much worse than it's ever been before. And I'm like, how does it keep getting harder to do this? Like, how does life keep getting more cramped?
When you get an answer, I'd like to know.
I don't know. And so I really want to do one. I really had a good time doing it. And so everybody out there knows, like, they're not events that I make money. I lose a ton of money on them. Because the only ticket prices I charge the ticket price is tailored specifically to pay for the venue and literally nothing else. I cover all my travel expenses, all of my recreation, all of that stuff. That's all me. I don't do these to make money. I do these to go meet people and have a really good time and put on a show as inexpensively and accessibly as possible. So I want to do one and have my friends come out and hang out too. It's just a blast. But I don't know if I can, and if I can, I don't know what month it will be. But if I'll keep you looped in on that.
Keep me posted. Well, like you said, Vegas is convenient because you can anywhere it's got an airport has a flight to Vegas.
Direct flights that are cheap.
Yeah.
And consistent.
Yeah.
So
because we hopped on a plane actually out of Tyler, the little commuter puddle of the planes. And
did you fly that thing to Vegas, or did you fly that thing to Dallas?
No, we flew to Dallas. I've also got a couple of clients actually with planes that actually the reason I didn't take the client up on that is the plane was being had its annual maintenance during that.
Okay, Justice Alito over here. Oh, come on, my clients, they got private planes. Remember jets, really. If you think
I got a client that's got a Pilatus, the 2-engine turboprop, and those are pretty nice. I can get used to that.
Did you know, so I have Instagram, which is great because it's the worst thing to ever happen to me, because I will scroll through Instagram reels, these like short videos, for decades at a time. I will burn. They're great because if you're like standing in line somewhere, you can just sit there and flip through these short videos. You just have to flip past all the chicks who are wearing sheer clothing that you can see. I was going to say,
yeah.
You have to scroll past those. But then when you get to the good stuff, I learned something. People duck from helicopters for a reason. Because it's weird, because you're like, these blades are fucking 15 feet up. They're not short, right?
All right. All right.
They're short, Ty.
Don't they oscillate up and down when they
Yeah, that's the thing. So they like droop down, but when they start going, they're like so you think, but they don't do that. They actually go like this, like you're saying.
Yeah.
And I've seen so many people sculled by these things on Instagram.
My God, really?
Yeah, Instagram's great.
Apparently.
If anything is written in Spanish, Arabic, or Chinese, you know someone is getting fucking killed. You're about to watch someone meet their maker. And that guy met it from a damn helicopter blade right to the side of the dome. It's not like clear video. You can't really tell. He's just walking. He goes, there's like a poof, and then he just drops, and you're like, well, that was probably his skull entering the next county. That had to suck. Yeah, so actually, I learned this from Instagram, though. You do duck around helicopters. I thought it was ridiculous.
Somebody in the chat said that I picked the wrong time to lose weight. Now I can't get a free extra seat.
Yeah, did you see that?
I did.
These airlines are going to give these fat chicks extra seats, Ty.
Well, on the other hand,
no, make them pay for it.
Well,
they're breathing twice as much oxygen.
But they're not going to. That's the problem.
Oh my God.
They're not going to. And so you're either going to have irate people sitting beside them. Like, who was the skinny chick that Andrew called her a conservathought? Who was it? She sued Burnett.
Sydney Watson?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, she tweeted out, she got, in between two rather large people on the plane and was, tweeting out the misery of her experience. So I don't know. Airplanes, I mean, it's going to cost it. What it means is the ticket prices are going to go up slightly from Southwest. I get it was Southwest that actually.
I don't fly Southwest though.
Yeah. I do sometimes. I got a friend whose wife is a flight attendant on Southwest. That doesn't affect my purchasing decisions. Or really, actually, I fly American mostly just because American has the connecting flight the regional flight out of Tyler. And
that American Eagle or whatever. No, it's not. Is it American Eagle? It's something like that.
Yeah, it is. It's something like that. And TSA in Tyler, Texas, with our terminal with two gates.
Fuck them, by the way. But go on, tell me about it.
Yeah, is TSA is easier there, and yes, I agree.
It's kind of easy, except they're really annoying if you have donuts from Donut Palace. They're like, we want to inspect these. I'm like, they're a donut. You bought
if you've got a little penknife in your dot kit.
Yeah, if you have a knife in your carry-on, Ty, TSA is going to have words with you.
Yeah, I normally stick my shaving kit in my bag and check it and all that. But one time I flew out, and for some reason, I don't remember why, I decided to stick the shaving kit in my carry-on. And buried in that thing was a little dinky knife about that big. And Ty Beard, could you please come to this? What?
Small but fierce, Ty.
Oh, I know. And I'm like, did Andy let you have an extra bullet today, Barney? No, I didn't want to do that. But outside of that experience, it's pretty simple. And
it is nice there because you can literally roll up, like, generally speaking, 20 minutes before your flight. You can just go through TSA and get on your plane.
Well, DFW airport's just a beat down. It's okay coming at it from the south, but I get lost about half the time trying to navigate that gigantic mix matcher north of DFW airport.
I actually kind of like the DFW airport for one reason. There's like 3 Landrys in it. And whenever I'm there and I have a layover over in like an hour and a half, I can go to a Landry's and get a bowl of gumbo.
Yeah,
and know
you're
that
right.
It's going to be
you're
good.
Right. They may have one every terminal, actually. They got 5.
There's a couple Papacitos. It's like, man, if I want some fajitas or I want some fucking gumbo, I can stop by and not Landry's, Pappadeaux's. It's Pappadeaux.
Gumbo or once you're inside the airport, it's a fine airport. I mean, it's big and it goes everywhere in the world, and it's got a nice transit system and all that kind of stuff.
Huge.
It's huge.
Tracts of land.
But I just hate driving there. It's
it's
a solid 2 hours, 2 hour and 15-minute drive from Tyler. And so, you drive there for 2 hours. You got to get there an hour early minimum. You got to pay for parking.
You're driving the wrong people, Ty.
Well, by the time you pile up all that.
My uncle, my
Yes.
uncle had to get my mom to the airport in like an hour and 15 minutes, and he did it.
Will this be Uncle J or Uncle P?
Jay. And it
That
wasn't in the red car. It was in the Jeep.
Oh boy.
My mom was like, he was moving. Oh my God.
I somehow that seems entirely believable.
It's like, well, it could be 2 hours, or if you're a lunatic.
By the way, your Uncle John, I guess I can say his name. Your Uncle John and I saw Godzilla last weekend. Godzilla.
Oh, I heard it was good. Is it good? I haven't seen it. Is it good? He froze. Look at him. He's just sitting there looking permanently handsome. Oh, wait, no, he's back.
Yes. Well, you froze on my end, but
it's your fault.
I was saying that your Uncle John.
You saw Godzilla, yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen
I heard that. Was it good? I haven't seen it. Was it good?
I thought it was excellent. I thought it was one of the best movies I've seen, certainly this year. It was it's a reboot, and it picks up. I'm not saying anything you wouldn't figure it, you wouldn't know in the first couple of minutes of the movie. The main character is a kamikaze pilot who loses his nerve, and then World War II ends, and so he's dealing with the fact that Japan has been completely flattened. He's dealing with the shame of not doing his duty, and all that kind of stuff. And then Gojira shows up.
Gojira.
It reminds me a little bit of Titanic in the sense that Titanic somehow managed to blend a passable love story with an action film, and it's sort of the same thing here. There's a love story. There's character development. I mean, it's a good movie, but the Godzilla parts are really well done. This Godzilla actually takes damage, which is unusual. He just heals it really, really fast.
Right. Yeah. Because he's cool.
Yeah.
I always liked Godzilla, man. I watched a bunch of the old like 80s Godzillas and shit when I was a kid. Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, Godzilla versus Mothra, Godzilla 1985, Godzilla versus King Kong. There's a bunch of other ones.
Godzilla got really, really odd in the late 60s and early 70s. The Mothra, with the two twin little girl things, whatever, that spoke for her,
the little Mothra chicks.
Yeah.
They're like, I hated that shit. That was so weird and loud. Wasn't there that lion thing in that one? Was that the one with the lion thing? There's like one lion thing that would it would reflect lasers from its eyes.
Yeah. And the Godzilla, the 1960s Godzilla versus King Kong was a hoot too.
Yeah, they were fun. I loved those movies. And then the Matthew Broderick one came out, and it was like, no, this is really good.
Yeah. No, I mean, but this is a reboot, and it's a good one. I mean, and somebody was talking about in the chat. I think the budget was $15 million, but that is a tiny sum of money for a movie today. I mean, Star Wars was like $11 million or $9 million. I can't remember if it was 9 or 11. That multiply that by 4 or 5 times to get and Star Wars was a relatively low budget film. So this budget is insignificant, and for a tiny budget like that, I mean, the effects are fine. They're good. They're
cool.
But yeah, that was.
I don't make it to the movies very often anymore.
I don't either.
It's tough to go, and when I go, I'm usually bringing kids to see something, and I'm like just suffering through it.
Well, and of course I've got one of those ginormous TVs and all that now.
And everything just comes out to streaming like 2 weeks anyway.
Yeah, I had my older son-in-law. He knows about all this stuff. I said, I want to spend this much money, build me a system, and he did. And it's OLED, very beautiful.
And you just sit down on your couch and you're like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah, and I don't have to pay $20 for a thing of popcorn. I'm not paying $8 for a soda.
Oh, dude. So we're gonna move into some of these chats in just a second.
Sure.
I just want to say the movie theater, not the one close to my house, but the other one. It's like 12 to 15 minutes away. They're both tiny, right? But the one in the mall, they do these forever buckets for the whole year. Like if you get the bucket, then it's like $5 a refill or something. I don't know, but it's like $20 for the bucket. And then they have the large popcorn, which is just $10 or $11, which this is small town. So you're everybody else is going, wait, you can still buy popcorn for
I was going to say
$11?
those prices are much more reasonable.
But they added a new thing, Ty. You know the garbage bags that they throw all the popcorn away in at the end of the night?
Uh-huh.
You can go buy that fresh now, like at this place. So you go up, it's like a large popcorn's like this, right? It's like $11. Or for $21, you get a fucking garbage bag. And it's like a 13-gallon garbage bag, 13-gallon garbage bag full of popcorn that they get fresh. Like they get it out of it's not like stored up or left over. It's the and I'm like, wait, this is $21? This has to be wrong. Like, no, I'm like, there's like 15 of these large popcorns. Why would anyone not do this?
And you can take it into the theater, this giant bag. Wow.
Yeah, you take the giant bag in, you take it home. I go into the movie theater and just buy these giant bags of popcorn, like one a week, and bring them home.
The raw material cost on popcorn is essentially non-existent. I mean, that $21 bag of popcorn probably has 50 cents worth of popcorn in it. So there's actually
$11 bag of popcorn has 8 cents worth of popcorn in it.
Yeah,
this is a good value for me.
Yeah. No, I agree, but yeah, that's when I go to a theater, I try to buy concessions because that's really where the theater makes their money.
They don't make shit on the movie tickets.
I feel like it's sort of part of the social contract that if I'm going to go to the theater and sit in their big comfy chair and watch their giant screen, that I'm obligated to, buy the concessions. But just by and large, I mean, COVID, I think it certainly changed a lot of my just daily habits. And I don't think I've switched back, but no, I haven't gone to a lot of movies either. But
I haven't been interested in it. I'm not consuming much media. I haven't played video games. I'm mostly just like wrapped up in doing the content stuff, dealing with family life and making sure these kids are like real people. Cause that's kind of important. I think a lot of people eschew that.
I think it is. Yes.
All right. So, go ahead.
I agree with that very much. So.
All right, we're gonna hit these chats on YouTube and Rumble. There's some good questions in there. We may have to answer some of the topics on Rumble because we're an hour in. We should do the switch really soon over there. But I want to get some of these. Matthew Cooper says, in my opinion, the Supreme Court striking down Trump convictions from these novel prosecutions has always been the endgame strategy. Use it to discredit the Supreme Court and generate support for unconstitutional changes. Merry Christmas, y'all. That's an interesting strategy. I hadn't thought of it that way. But I don't think it's right. I don't think that. I
think you're giving the other side way too much credit.
I think they're literally spilling their spaghetti all over because they think they can. I think they can. They believe they can wrest power eternally if they just flex in the right places. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's the eternal delusion, and both parties have a tendency to think that way. That we're just never going to lose. I mean, I remember in 2005, the Republicans talking about the permanent emerging conservative majority. And in 2006,
and then they run
handed to us. Yeah,
John McCain, my friends.
Yeah, John McCain.
I can only Roman salute my friends.
Well, back to back, John McCain and Mitt Romney, two people that we should have thrown out of the party. Against
awful.
one of the most charismatic opponents that we've faced. That we faced in the last 100 years. So that worked out great.
Sherry Lawlessness says, Ty, do you know Kathy Fredericks in Nacogdoches? I'm a cafe. Cafe being Kaffe, which is a last name. Cafe Fredericks in Nacogdoches. I'm a cafe. Merry Christmas all.
No, I do not. I have some Fredericks relatives in Louisiana, but I don't.
There you go. There's the answer to your question. Irikias says, Ty, how fucked is the completionist? That's the guy we were talking about earlier. I assume you know nothing about it other than what I've said. So we might. That's a topic I think would be fun to talk about.
Somebody in the chat asked earlier. I happened to see it. How does Ty not know anything about the topics when he comes on the show? Well, the same reason we let you in the chat.
What here, guys? that topic was brought up by a chat. Like
Yeah.
I didn't tell him. If I was going to talk about the completionist of time, I would have sent him an article or something.
Yeah.
I didn't think we were just going to chat. Like we just do these Christmas shows. We're just hanging out and chatting, reminding each other like what it's like.
Which, by the way, if you do a Christmas Eve show, I'm still available for that. If not, that's I understand. So because I don't have my Santa hat on, you know.
Yeah. No, I was wondering if you were going to have one. So that's what
it's not really the official Christmas thing if I don't have the Santa hat and the lights.
Yeah. I don't normally do a stream on Sunday, but since I don't think I'll be streaming Monday for Christmas, maybe we do it. Maybe we do it.
Let me know.
Yeah. And maybe we'll maybe there's someone else we could like maybe there's some other people we could just have a good old Merry Christmas gay stream, hang out. Okay, Manville P. Calories is heat when burned. Yes, technically it's a chemistry term, but alcohol and bleach both have high calorie counts but are not absorbed by the body in the same way. Eating the same calories of chicken or corn syrup is not the same thing. All right.
Agreed.
But you're not eating corn syrup. Like no one's just eating corn syrup.
Right. We're agreed that we're generalizing, but the generalizations are reasonably accurate. There's an infinite amount of yes buts in nutrition. And I don't mean that to disparage what the guy, what the.
Try eating 2,000 calories of celery in a day. It's really tough to do.
Yeah.
And it's going to be absorbed differently in the body. Like if you eat 2,000 calories worth of carrot, you might die or whatever. No, I guess it's a polar bear liver will kill you from vitamin E overdose. If you're trying to do that.
I think, and to support the super chat, I think, 300 calories of steak versus 300 calories of cookies. Okay. The steak is going to stay in your stomach longer and you're going to feel less hungry.
And you're going to get a big fucking gut if you keep I love steak, but if you eat steak every day, and especially if you're over 40, that's going to stick like spackle inside your stomach. And until you cleanse that shit out and purge yourself of the steak, there are a bunch of guys who have the gut issue and they're like, I don't get it. And they're sitting there eating T-bones every night. I'm like, look, I love T-bones, but you can't just have that. You can't have that in there unless you're doing colon blow, you weirdo.
It reminds me of a scene from the original Beverly Hills Cop. They're sitting at the stakeout and the young cop is sitting down. Judge Reinhold is sitting there reading and he goes, do you realize that the average American male by the time he's 40, has over 5 pounds of uneaten red meat in his bowels? The older cop's like, why are you telling me this?
Yep.
He's like, well, you eat a lot of red meat.
Those movies are good.
Hey, they're doing a sequel to Beverly Hills Cop coming out in a few months.
It's going to be terrible.
Maybe
Wait, is Eddie Murphy still the protagonist?
Eddie Murphy is in it, and all the guys from the original Beverly, they're 1,000 years old now.
Yeah, but as long as it's not like a reboot with their kids who are all
no. It's as long as you did see the Panderverse, right? South Park, the Panderverse.
Yeah,
make it a chick, make her lame and gay.
I didn't watch it because I don't watch anything, but no, I saw clips and stuff of it. Yes, and it's true. They're spot on it, of course.
Oh yeah, it's worthy of watching. But anyway, so yeah, your nutrition points. I think both Nick and I can see that we're generalizing that if you eat something resembling a rationally balanced meal.
No, don't do that. If you just eat food, corn syrup is not food. No one's sitting there going drinking down corn syrup. That's not real at all.
Right.
And if you eat cookies, if you eat enough cookies to get full, you're eating 1,500 calories of cookies. Where if you eat enough steak to get full, it's 700 calories.
I told you about my experiment building a food stockpile.
Where you just peanut butter and crackers and rice.
Oh yeah, well, but it was weird because you had to invert all your normal things that you're looking for with food. And I remember at one point, Brittany, my daughter, she said she wanted Brussels sprouts or something, and I said, "Honey, that's just empty nutrients. There's almost no calories there."
But you didn't have to be building up a food store for that. You could have just said, "Honey, Brussels sprouts are bullshit."
Well, you don't say.
I actually like them too.
Yeah, can't say that to your daughter. If I had sons, yes.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
daughters can't.
Right, you can't swear to them.
No, you.
They're bull crap, honey. No, I love Brussels sprouts when they're like a good roasted Brussels sprout with a lot of places up here will do this spicy Brussels sprout thing. I I'll eat them like crazy.
Mhm.
They don't taste like Brussels sprouts. They taste like Tabasco sauce.
Well, the goal of that exercise, though, was to build up basically the maximum number of calories for the minimum cost. I mean, I made it into sort of an intellectual game.
Right.
And
Yeah.
yeah, peanut butter was insanely calorie dense, per dollar.
It's because it was invented by black people.
I had no idea that. Let's see, it was peanut butter.
You're lying about that, right?
No, I mean, I'm aware of George Washington Carver. And
okay.
Yeah.
Jeez, I was like, it can't be that.
Yeah, no. But yeah, but it was peanut butter. Oatmeal, surprisingly, is very calorie dense, and of course, rice. My God, rice is.
Oh,
rice
that's what I was going to say. You know what they should have called the Enola Gay? That's what I was going to say.
Why? No. What should they have called it?
No ideas? Because that's a weird name, right? Like the Enola Gay. What does that even
I assume that's somebody's girlfriend or wife.
Right. Why would you put your girlfriend on a plane that's going to get shot down?
Well,
maybe you didn't like her.
That was very common. Chuck Yeager named his plane Glamorous Glennis, and Glennis was his wife. So
did he get shot down?
I don't think.
Did he crash?
Yeah, I think he did, actually.
Yeah, see? The Enola Gay statistically was likely to have a bunch of Japanese holes punched in it. I don't know if that's what I want to put my wife on. Right? Like, that's not good.
I'm pretty sure they didn't think of it in those terms. It's
maybe they should have, Ty. Maybe less of those planes would have got shot down. No, I would have called it rice cooker.
Rice cooker. Oh. Wow, I think that might be too racist even for the 1940s.
Now Looney Tunes would have done it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, some of those World War II Looney Tunes propaganda films are kind of
so funny. Like the little Japanese bird is like running around with the glasses, the giant buck teeth. It's like, God, this is just brutal.
Well, they were still doing that as late as the 60s on Gilligan's Island. You remember there's an episode where the Japanese soldier doesn't know the war's over and takes over the island. He's got the big,
there was that actual Japanese soldier who was like that. It was like 40 years that he
wasn't
gaining
just
a
one.
station.
Well, because what happened in the Pacific is we bypassed a lot of islands. We weren't about to expend the effort to conquer every single little tiny island Japanese had occupied. So we bypassed a bunch of them, and some of them got left behind. And
people are telling me that the pilot of the Enola Gay was the pilot's mother's name.
Okay,
that doesn't make it better for me.
I always assumed it was.
That's very Freudian, right? Like, what are you going to do? I'm going to climb inside my mother and make her fly. Like, oh, Jesus, God, why would you do that?
Pretty sure the generation that fought World War II would have said that Freud was bullshit.
I don't care. Like, at least he didn't have her pinup picture on there. That would have been worse.
Yeah, that would be bad.
But, I don't know. I think Freud would definitely have something.
When I was a kid, I was probably 6 years old, maybe 7. My parents bought a Toyota Corolla,
Yeah.
And my mom,
when it ran out of gas, it just looked for a school bus and
slammed into it. I remember we had some problem. I don't know if it was a flat tire. There was some mechanical problem, and so she takes it to this car mechanic, and he turned out to be a World War II veteran. All while he's fixing the car, he's explaining why buying Japanese cars is a bad idea and how lousy the Japanese are.
Oh God, that had to be great.
Yeah. Of course, I was too little to really understand all the subtext, everything. But yeah, I mean, that was 72, I guess. So
today he's still young. Irakaya says inflation in the U.S. is so bad that Americans are crossing to Mexico border towns and getting their groceries there. It's got to be fake, but probably true. I love that Texas passed the law, like the Texas law to ban border crossing.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, we're going to enforce this, you fucking idiots.
It's going to be interesting because will the administration have the guts to try to challenge it?
Well, they definitely will. And then they'll say federal supremacy, right? But then Texas has this argument that these laws are not in conflict because of demonstrated conduct that they will not enforce the existing law in the book. So
Well,
it's
and
effectively,
I like the optics of the Democrats continuing to openly support these open borders, because this isn't going over very well in these sanctuary cities. I love the shipments of illegals to the sanctuary cities feeds my soul.
how about this? How about this for the legal theory, Ty? Texas passes its own border patrol policy, right? Obviously, we now have a federal and state enforcement conflict on a portion of federal law that seems like it should belong with the federal government.
Mm-hmm.
What is the best argument that state law actually trumps non-enforced federal law? And this is great. Weed laws, Ty.
What now?
Marijuana. Imagine if if Ken Paxton briefs out the Supreme Court argument over federal supremacy by saying that the government has effectively waived its supremacy argument by a failure and outright abject refusal to enforce federal law, forcing states to come up with their own legal schema. Because that's what they did with marijuana, and marijuana is Controlled Substances Act, which is entirely based on the Commerce Clause and the principles of interstate commerce, which are plenary authority of Congress, which means that in theory, the federal government should have supremacy. But I think there's no way right now that the federal government wins a supremacy clause argument on marijuana enforcement in this country. Like, no way they can go into Denver and be like, yep, we're raiding all the pot stores in Denver because it's all federally illegal. And they're like, you fuckers have let this be legal in Colorado for like 10 years. How
de facto. Yeah, that's an interesting point. I think you do start looking at a due process issue if you have a reliance, some kind of reliance argument, if nothing else. You have systematically not enforced this law for 10 years to now suddenly start enforcing it would be a due process violation.
Yeah,
very interesting.
It's an undue burden on people who have acted in reliance, right? It's promissory estoppel in some senses. They're acting in reliance on the government's non-enforcement.
Well, I saw the Fifth Circuit shot down the administration on their attempts to remove some the barriers that the state was setting up. So,
oh yeah, the those floating barriers with wire and like, God, those are great. I like those. Those are hilarious.
Well, I mean that's what it's come down to, is that the states are gonna have to police their borders. And the thing is, everybody says, "Oh my God, the cost." It's not that much. I mean, that's a cost we can afford to pay. And I saw that, I don't know if you saw, Chicago is now seizing buses of migrants. So Abbott just started flying them.
So I love that. Yeah, I love when they started just shipping the migrants from Texas to all of the states. Who are like, how dare they not accept these people in? It's like, here, you have them.
Yeah,
and then they're like, this is illegal.
Yeah, He's Dead Jim in the chat is saying, have you seen how African Americans are pissed off that they've been kicked out of housing to make room for migrants? Yeah, there's people don't like to talk about this, but there's a lot of hostility among look, these migrants are an economic threat to people on the lower end of the economic spectrum. They're not going to take my job. I'm pretty safe from that, at least for now. So they're not real happy. The Democratic Party in general has got some very fascinating rifts and problems that they're having to deal with. They got a huge anti-Semitism issue when a substantial chunk of your money comes from Jewish Americans, but a substantial number of your votes come from people that would like to exterminate the Jews. That's a hard.
Yeah, what do you do with it?
Yeah, that's an interesting dynamic.
Have you ever heard of what I think he's actually the greatest interviewer on the entire planet? Jesse Lee Peterson, black guy. He's this guy. He's this guy.
I've seen him.
He's this guy. Beta. Yeah, look at this.
I've seen that guy before, but I wouldn't say
this one.
Do you love black people?
How about this one? How about this next one was from his show with me when he interviewed me.
I just need you to be black and a female.
I love him. He's so
Actually,
great.
my favorite interviewer was a guy, I think in Kenya or some African country, where he goes, "Why are you gay?
Why are you gay?"
Why are you
that guy's
gay?"
pretty good. I think I have that clip somewhere. But anyway, no.
Why are you gay?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Why are you gay?
No, so Jesse is hilarious. He's just like, I guess he's like a pastor or something in the LA area. He has this radio show and he'll bring people on and he'll like he brought this guy Destiny on. This a couple years ago, and Destiny is this very famous like political debater on Twitch. I know that sounds gay and it is, but I've Destiny and I'm fine with Destiny. I get along with him. He's a nice guy. I should probably interview him at some point, but he's going through some shit right now. So we'll figure it out at some point. Maybe, I don't know. I've been on Destiny's show, but Destiny goes on Jesse Lee Peterson's show, and Destiny is very liberal, right? He's got like literally blue hair, and his name is Destiny Ty.
Yes.
And so Jesse asked him, he's like, and that is the time you decided to become a liberal? He's like, yeah, I guess so. And he's like, is that the same time you decided to stop being a man?
I'm liking him.
Oh, he's great. He's the funniest dude that exists. And he's this great interviewer because he's not stupid, but he sounds stupid.
Right.
The way he talks. And he will just relentlessly ask the question and not let you reframe it for your answer.
Oh, that's great.
He goes, do you love black people? He asked that to Destiny. He goes, do you love black people? And Destiny's like, well, I don't really see people that way. He goes, do you love black people? He's like, well, I don't love any group of people. It's not like I don't love white people.
Do you
love black people? Just until he answers the question. It's like, just answer the fucking question.
Yeah.
But he gets in it with Destiny, and eventually he asks this question. This is years ago. He's a prescient motherfucker. He goes, do you care about the negative impacts of illegal immigration on the black community?
Ooh.
And Destiny starts, he's like, well, what about these stats? Like, you got to show me stats. And I don't know that there is a negative impact. And he goes, do you care about the negative impact of illegal immigration on the black community? Just relentlessly asking the question. And the funny thing was, at the time he was asking it, there's not like hard data around it, but now you have black people being evicted from homes, Section 8 shit. You've got the limited government resources are going to be doled out in regards to like food stamps and WIC and shit like that. Sorry, like if they're going to give that to illegal immigrants, there's some states that have a huge amount of illegal immigrants that they now have to absorb the cost of.
Oh, yeah. Oh, listen, I want these sanctuary cities and states. I want them to get all the immigrants they can. I mean, because they're just they're making the case to the people to their own people why they should never be allowed to be in power. I mean, look, I don't have any particular hostility to immigrants. We have an immigration department in my firm.
Mr. Beard, have you forgiven your mother?
Yes.
Yes. You're married, right, Mr. Beard?
Yes.
Are you the head of your wife? Are you the head of your marriage?
Yes. But I govern with the consent of the governed.
So are you the head of your marriage?
Yes.
Okay.
See, I would interview just fine with him.
Oh yeah, mine was great. I loved it. I'm like, this guy is fucking hilarious.
Well, as lawyers, Nick, one of the things that the normal people that watch the show and all that is for lawyers, the unwillingness to answer a straightforward question is like fingernails on a chalkboard.
Yeah, we just want you to answer the question asked.
It's maddening when somebody won't do that. So when I see somebody just bull in and latch on and make them do it, I love it.
We know that this answer is bad for you. That's why we asked. Just answer it. You're not getting around this.
We know, and you know that you're dissembling because you don't want to answer the question honestly.
Yeah.
But that's So what's it? Jesse Peterson? Did you say
Jesse Lee Peterson? I'll send you his interview with me because it was so much fun. He interviews Destiny. That's great. Your name is Destiny. He's like, well, that's the name I chose. Destiny's a woman's name. Shit like that. And then do you know who Hassan Piker is?
No.
Okay, so Hassan Piker, he's a huge streamer. He's a piece of shit. You know who Cenk Uygur is, right?
Yes, I know who.
Okay, Hassan is
Chunk.
Cenk's. Yeah, he's Chunk's nephew, who used to work for Chunk. But
yeah, okay. I mean, yeah.
There's this interview, and I don't know if people know about this one because Hassan was not super popular yet. He was still working for the Young Turks, like kind of in the background. And Jesse Lee Peterson interviews Hassan Piker, and it is amazing. And he's like, he goes, what do you think about like the black people are terrible at their own families, like all this stuff. And Hassan's like, do you have any data on that? He goes, I don't need data. I have eyes. Oh my God. It's brutal. He just wrecks this guy because all these little liberal debate bros, right? They're all super intellectual, little egghead, pointy-headed fucking fruits, right? And they go out there and they think they're going to walk circles around a dumb black man is how they see him.
By the way, I have to interrupt you. Catnip Dave, that's just mean. You should not say that.
What did
he made a Serenity reference.
That was not good. Not good. I'm a leaf on the wind, Ty. Yeah, all right, here. Let me read the rest of these YouTube chats. We'll get off of YouTube. We'll go to Rumble exclusively, and then we'll go on for a little bit longer. Not too long tonight, guys. Werewolf says, Shiloh Williams won. Here's $2 going to Rumble. Ben Frail, no one from the Confederacy had these issues. K. Shiloh Williams says, legalish question. If I bought a car and the guy who sold didn't do the paperwork to do it legally, can I get my money back and maybe charge them for storage? Been trying to fix this for 7 months.
You might be able to get a judgment.
So that is not money. That sounds like a case at equity, not at law. That's where you go. The balance of what has unfolded here is unfair because of the action of the other party. Not that there's a specific civil offense that they've committed against you, but that they have not done the thing and has resulted in your loss, and they should be made to compensate for it because it was their thing to do. Rulings at equity are iffy because a judgment at equity will only make you whole for the amount you lost and probably not your legal fees, unless there's some statutory provision.
And not other incidental damages.
Yeah.
The real problem, of course, is, the law won't actually go break his door down and hold a gun to his head and make him write you a check. The law will give you a judgment.
I'm having this question. What paperwork did he not do, quote unquote, legally to
probably the title documents?
But Ty, you could just transfer the title today.
That's true too.
You just go to the guy and be like, dude, I don't want to sue you. Just do a new title thing. Transfer it today.
Well, another possibility might be there was a lien out there that didn't get paid, and so now the guy bought the car with a pre-existing lien that didn't get released.
Now, lien release, that's different, yeah. But it depends on the issue. The short answer is yes. There is a remedy for you in court. Is it worth going to court for? Can you fix it otherwise? But if you've been trying to do it for 7 months and you can't do it,
if the guy's not cooperative, if the guy's not cooperative, try to look in the yellow pages and try to find some young solo practitioner lawyer who does.
And if you call me, fuck off.
Everything else, yeah.
The Iceman. Oh. 10, 14, 18. Any plans to watch Crowder on Piers Morgan about the First Amendment? No. Was a fun watch. Crowder could have hit some points harder, but he still trounced him. I like Crowder. I don't like watching
Crowder, but I don't like Piers Morgan.
Well, I'm not a big fan of Crowder debating people on constitutional issues not because he's not good at it, but because I'm a lawyer and my approach and argument style is different. He's a popular broadcaster in the conservative space. His approach to the First Amendment is going to be that way, whereas I'm looking for legal arguments. Crowder did one of the most uncomfortable interviews I've ever seen. He brought a guy on to debate the Second Amendment. I think he even apologized to the guy later because he was such an asshole during the debate about the Second Amendment. It was like, and he wasn't making good arguments. He was making good internet arguments, like there's a big rah-rah crowd for Crowder, but the interview made him look like an absolute cunt. The other guy looked reasonable and it was bad. And I like Crowder. I like Crowder. I don't even like the other guy.
Because I've seen Crowder. I saw him. He did a thing with Milo Yiannopoulos one time, and I can't remember this woman's name. Anyway, he was college students, and he just crucified them. Did a fantastic job. It was the one where the ugly fat liberal chick was screaming,
Yeah.
And she became an internet meme for a while. But
oh yeah, the big chick in the
Trigglypuff,
crowd.
that was
he
the
wasn't.
name.
Yeah, Trigglypuff was just yelling at him from the crowd, though.
Yeah,
this was someone he brought them on the show. They had a disagreement over the Second Amendment. This is after Newtown, Connecticut. He brings the guy on the show and he just sandbags him the entire time on the interview, relying on the fact that it's his show, relying on the popularity of the position. And like the other guy wasn't actually making, like, he wasn't being an ass or being disingenuous. And it was probably just a brilliant debate tactic because it made Crowder look like the bad guy. And I think he
like
even
a bully.
Yeah, I think he even did apologize. People are saying it was Chris Titus. Maybe it was, but I don't remember who it was. It was so long ago. I mean, this would have been like 2012, 2013 type shit, but it was just not like it. I don't like watching him debate because he debates like an entertainer, which is great and very entertaining. But if you want to debate, that's not a debate.
No. No. Well, you do.
That's why I don't do them.
Yeah, you do it at a more serious level. I don't know how good a debater I would be because I have a remarkably low tolerance for bullshit arguments. And when someone makes those kind of arguments, I interpret that as bad faith, and therefore I don't feel like I have any particular obligation to be nice.
Yeah.
So,
but like, so that's every internet debate. When people invite me for debates, I will always tell them I don't like doing debates on the internet. I will do discussions. We can talk about ideas. If we do debates, it's just who can say faggot the funniest. Like that's what it ends up being. And I'm like,
and who's got the most supporters in the audience too?
Right. And it doesn't even matter because it's the after the fact thing. So whoever's in the audience, like no one picks the winner. Everybody picks their winner based on what they already thought. And I will do it. But I'm not a big fan of it, but I can typically bring a good amount of people to a stream, and I can typically also like be funny enough to get to win the argument, whether I win the argument or not. Although I will say I did go on Destiny's show. This is back to Destiny, as always. And
but that's a girl name, Nick.
Is a woman's name.
That's a woman's name.
He had me on with 3 other lawyers, and we were talking. This is before Roe versus Wade got overturned.
Oh, was that the show where I thought it was going on live?
Yeah. Right. And so there's
beverages before that.
Is thing, and I'm with 3 other lawyers, and I'm the only guy like fully supporting a pro-life position.
Well, those guys were idiots, though. I mean,
I know, Ty.
Idiots.
I was there.
Yeah.
But like they didn't know the property rights history of
live, right. I mean,
this show is live right now. Yes, there's lots of people watching. Over 8,000 people are watching, which is cool. But no, there's they legitimately had no idea like that you could make a property rights argument for unborn children, and they're like, wait, what? What are you talking about? Like, well, property rights are kind of important, and we've recognized them in unborn children since the 1400s. And not future interests, present interests in property ownership. And we still today have laws on the books that recognize present ownership interests in unborn children. What? And I'm like, yeah, mic drop, walk out. Yeah. The whole basis of protecting anything is protecting property rights and allowing the individual to exercise their property rights. And if you don't understand that, bye. And so like I end up debating these 3 guys, and I think I did a pretty good job, and I didn't call too many of them slurs.
No,
except for Pisco. That guy's a fucking loser.
Well, I mean, again, I think you probably have more patience with that kind of crap than I do.
I know. It would be funny to have you on one of those shows.
You guys are idiots.
You'd be like, you're a fucking idiot. Have you thought about that? Did you vote Democrat? Why didn't you just vote bullet in the mouth, you fucking moron? That would be hilarious.
You get me, Nick.
I do. Ty, I can't quit you.
Yeah, I know.
But here we go. Someone with moon runes for a name. I don't know what brand of Asian that is. It looks Japanese.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I see. Sorry.
That looks Japanese. I think I have some of those on my He says, by imperial decree, Wolfgang Deo is now Holy Roman Emperor and presidential candidate Hack 2024. I can announce running from Taiwan as a campaign stunt, right? Yes. Help dissuade Jen from invading. If I die from invasion, ... There you go.
That's a lot to unpack.
Chandler H Barbecue and Ice says, I'm having a blast at SpaceX. Fucker. God damn it. They bring in barbecue every Friday, and my girlfriend and I bought a $1 million house. I had to cut my parents out of my life, but I'm okay. You know about Chandler Halderson, right?
No.
This Wisconsin kid who killed his parents and chopped them up. And he claimed he got a job at SpaceX. He claimed he finished college. He claimed a whole bunch of shit, and everybody just believed him forever.
Okay.
Ty, one of the most unfortunately and disgustingly funny things the audience has ever done for me happened from that case. So he murders his parents, and he literally they didn't find most of their bodies. We don't know where they went. And someone sends me a create your own puzzle.
Oh no.
With a picture of his two parents holding. So they're all like in pieces. And I was like, and I looked at it and I was like, no, not like this.
The demon appears on your shoulder and the angel appears on the other shoulder.
They're like, never build it.
Don't you ever show that? Never build that, Nick. And
no, show it, but never put it together. Always show them in pieces. Yeah. Wait, Ty, have you seen the movie Pieces?
No.
Oh, that's a horror movie from I think before you were. I don't know what year you were born. Don't dox it.
Movie watching. I mean, I don't hate them exactly. I'm not a big horror movie thing.
So which is odd a coyote pulled over in a fucking semi truck. Okay.
What? I'm sorry. Did I fall asleep and wake up and? You're not you've never seen Pieces. You're not a horror movie fan at all? Not really. I mean, not I mean, I've seen
Pieces is 1982. It's not even that old.
Pieces.
Oh, Pieces is great. It's a serial killer who's chopping up women and collecting parts of them to build a Frankenstein woman.
Yeah, I don't like
that's barely even in the movie, Ty.
Yeah.
The best part of the movie is the random, strung out brunette chick. And she goes, the most beautiful thing in the world is smoking pot and fucking in a waterbed at the same time. It's the weirdest thing ever.
I miss the 80s.
I do too. You need to watch that. Mr. Rich Low Pitch says, Gojira, great movie, great heavy metal band. Merry Christmas to you and the fam, Nick. Hey, thanks. Thank you. Ethan, the Pokemon's master. Ty is a Texan. Are you interested in the Von Erich biopic, The Iron Claw?
Absolutely. When I was a kid, the Von Erich family, they ruled wrestling in Texas. In fact, I since it came up a little while back, I actually got around to reading Ric Flair's biography, and it's a fascinating read. He's a good writer, or whoever wrote it anyway. I don't know if it was a ghostwritten or not, but he was describing the way wrestling existed before it became nationalized. Yeah. And so the world champion, the goal of the world champion of wrestling, I always heard Ric Flair is a great wrestler. Okay, wrestling is fake. So what does that mean exactly? What that means is Ric Flair could make anybody look good when he was wrestling. And his job as the champion, when he was the champion, his job as a champion was to go to each of these regional areas and wrestle their favorite champion, and always resort to dirty tricks and barely beat him.
Right.
Because then next time around, our champion
would have won.
He would have won, but yeah. And anyway, a fascinating thing. But yeah, the Von Erichs, they were huge.
Have you heard of a comedian named Theo Von? Probably not, I'm guessing.
Probably not. It sounds vaguely familiar, but no.
Theo Von's a pretty interesting guy. He's funny because he's just like himself is funny. He's a comedian by existing. But he has an interview.
Like Dick Masterson, who's one of the funniest people I've ever.
Dick's fucking great. But Theo Von interviews Ric Flair about Ric Flair's time in rehab.
Ooh,
we might pull that up when we switch over to Rumble. I won't do it on YouTube, but it's so funny. Ric Flair is talking about. Oh my God, it's good. Well, we're gonna have to pull that up. Here we go. BS Simon Ty, were you not able to get an MRE to Nick?
Oh yeah, that's right. So,
well, yeah, you were going to send me one, weren't you?
yeah, I need to do that. I probably could still do
I don't
that.
want it. I've eaten an MRE before. I'm not a big fan.
Yeah. So the Beard family has a tradition. We have an MRE Christmas dinner at some point during the Christmas celebrations, and in fact, I've got my two cases of menu A and B of the 2023 MREs. Mrs. Beard isn't really as enthusiastic about the MRE.
She's not such a big MRE fan.
Not so much. Not so much.
More of a Navy eater.
Yeah.
Where they cook actual food.
Yeah. But yeah, one of my Facebook friends who watches the show had said you ought to do that with Nick, and I was like, dang it. But I forgot all about that. That would have been funny. We could have done.
Oh man, it's really sad that you forgot to send me an MRE that I'd be forced to eat on air. Damn shucks.
I bet I could get to the FedEx tomorrow, and
like the next time I'm down there, you're gonna have to force feed me one live on camera.
Well, we ought to do.
It'll be the hot dogs, of course.
I think the audience deserve it. Actually, MREs are not bad. They got a lot of sodium in them.
It depends on the I mean, it's just like a lean cuisine. They took all the fat out and they just replaced it with salt because salt is delicious.
Yeah. And if you get the MRE with the cheese and jalapeno spread, that stuff is delicious. And I don't even like. I'm not a particularly huge spicy food fan, but anyway.
Low Watermark with a huge locals tip. Thank you, brother. He says, these Just Chatting streams are my favorites. I'll always be here for these. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
We're almost done on the YouTube, and then we'll do the Rumble Flip. Not sure says, did you catch the RPG accident on High Speed Ballistics? I haven't caught it. Someone mentioned it. I haven't watched it. Grifty says, but the Dreamers are taking your job, Ty. They are the activist immigration lawyers representing the next wave of the invasion.
I work for rich business owners.
They're not taking your jobs.
Part, so
they took our jobs.
No, AI is going to take a lot of lawyer jobs.
Yeah.
GPT is going to do that.
Lawyers need to transition to being funny.
Yeah. Or being in real estate, which is one of the things I'm doing. So.
Well, we saw how that worked out for Trump's lawyers.
How did you see Rudy Giuliani stiffed his lawyers to the tune of about $1.5 million?
He's filing for bankruptcy. His debts are $500 million.
Yeah.
Well, but what 160 something million is to the two women. I was going to talk to you about that. Don't you love these fucking defamation cases where they're awarding to like 60-year-old minimum wage employees? They're like, you get 48 million in damages. Like, from what? These people are going to make $1 in their entire lives. Why are they going to get?
These juries are making political. You got two things going on. First of all, this is the judicial system is being distorted by the politics, which is terribly destructive. But they're doing it. The other part of it is this is a big problem with experienced trial lawyers. Is the juries are becoming increasingly batshit crazy, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
They are willing to make awards of just insane levels, and and trial lawyers are trying to come to terms with that, because it's making it very difficult to get rational juries. So
yeah, and it's if you guys don't understand how jury award, any damages award in court is supposed to work, especially the compensatory economic damage award. This is gross. Like it's an admittedly gross thing, but you have to put a value on someone's life. And you say, well, the black ghetto baby is worth the same as Elon Musk. It's like, well, economically, no, they're not. No. Like, it has nothing to do with the baby. It has something to do with Elon Musk and his achievements, but really it's just about the dollar amounts that are attached to their names and what their potential earning is. But if you kill Elon Musk, his descendants who would get his money or whoever has an interest in him have lost a massive economic value. Tesla itself would massive economic value is lost if Elon Musk dies. If the guy who works at Starbucks dies, someone is entitled to like $38 and probably a bunch of credit card debt.
Yeah. You haven't lost a lot of money. You've lost there's an emotional loss there. That's just
and the court can't fix your emotions with like multi-million-dollar checks, despite all the awards Ben Crump gets for black families. But like George Floyd was not worth $27 million. There's no way he would ever make that much money in his life.
Right.
He was never going to have, and that sucks that it is that way. The court only has limited remedies.
There is a logic behind it, but the problem is right now is politics are the justice system is being completely distorted for political purposes, and that is not going to end well. Because here's the look. I want our side to start retaliating. I have no interest in taking the high road here. I have no interest in saying, well, we're going to be better than them.
Ty's a lowland Scotsman.
Yeah, I want to see Democrats taken off the ballot. I want to see, liberals sued in red states and receive ridiculous judgments. And that's where we are. These people they're destroying a system that worked pretty well for 200 years.
Right.
And
it's crazy. Like Alex Jones is legitimately against Texas law and against Texas jurisprudence, and I think even against Texas Constitution. His damages award it's an impossible one. But here's what we got to do. Here's what we got to do, guys. We got to flop over to Rumble from YouTube, Rumble exclusively. We're going to play this 25-second stinger. We will be right back. When we're back, we're going to finish. We're going to keep talking, finish up some of these topics. It'll be great. I think I am going to show you the video clip I was just talking about. God damn it. What was it? Shit. I got to think about this. Oh, the Theo Von and Ric Flair. Because it's just funny. And this is ultimately a good-natured, good feel-good stream. Guys, if you like these chats that we do and this nice sort of chill environment and the good topics and all that shit, and my friend Ty, of course, please click the like button on YouTube. Also, come over to Rumble. The link is in the description. It's also in the pin chat by C. Goody, the resident gay. Come and follow us over there. We'll keep this stream going for a little bit longer. After that, locals. I think we're going to the hot tub tonight, if you're ready. All right, guys. We'll see you on Rumble exclusively in just a minute. Peace.